massive day for West Ham today. A huge day for Graham Potter as well. If he loses against Crystal Palace today, then he loses his job. And I've thought that, as regular watchers will know, I thought that since we lost to Tottenham. It was a hunch. Now I'm really certain of it. Not only that, I'm certain it will be replaced in the event of that happening with Nuno Espirito Santo. I actually would not at all be surprised if West Ham drew, that he was also replaced. We've got a little bit more detail from yesterday's video. Obviously, we had a laugh and a joke about Karen Brady sneaking off to have a clandestine meeting with Graham Potter. Why would she sneak off? Well, because Graham Potter was her call to replace Julian Lopetegui, and he's a family friend and best mates with Paul Pescisolido. Thank you to everybody in yesterday's video pointed out that they were, of course, teammates at Birmingham. I'm very certain that that's the case. We know that they met. Karen Brady and Nuno Espirito Santo met on Thursday. Then on Friday, Espirito Santo attended the Essex mansion of David Sullivan, and he was pictured. It was quite weird. The pictures were quite interesting. There was 3 separate sets of photographs that pictured him in Dayton in Essex. And I think they were in a coffee shop or so. You should have gone to the bakery. That's where you want to go if you're heading down there. You should have got a pie or a pasty from the bakery. He was missing out. But anyway, he appeared to be smoking a cigarette and maybe having a coffee or something like that. One of the places he was outside of, it said free cheese tasting evening. I'm not sure if he attended the cheese tasting evening anyway, but you can insert, by the way, below. I do want to see your cheese-related puns. If you have something about us not appointing Gianfranco Gorgonzola, stuff like that. We'll have cheese puns in the comments below. Thank you very much. He's going to get the job, unless we see something, quite magnificent from Graham Potter, I think. Now, the trouble is with any of this is, it's not just that Graham Potter will be leaving. We'll throw the baby out with the bathwater. And again, had it on quite good authority that if Potter leaves, then so will Carl Macaulay quite shortly afterwards. And I think the reason I hate that, not that I've got any particular love for Macaulay or even Potter. I didn't want them appointed in the first place. I just thought the whole thing was a bad idea. But I think what I do hate is that they've put so much stock in Potter and in Macaulay, who really, he'd only ever been a data analyst, but he was put into the lofty position of being head of West Ham's recruitment. Not only that, if you look back at that statement, that ridiculous statement that West Ham released at the end of, I think it was Wednesday actually, so much of that was about how they were planning for the future, how they'd overhauled the infrastructure, how they'd overhauled scouting and recruitment. Make no mistake about it, that will all start again. It's nonsense. In the same way that it started again after Huselos, in the same way that it started again after Tony Henry, in the same way that it started again after Rob Newman, in the same way that it started again after Tim Stuyton was sacked. It will start again. The truth of the matter is we don't know whether Carl Macaulay's signings were good or bad yet. We haven't seen. You could maybe look at it and think, oh my goodness, Hermansen is horrendous. Hey, look, isn't Fernandes great? The truth, Diouf looks good. Magassa, we just don't know. We don't know because he's not been given enough time in the job. Once you get past my own personal opinion that I don't think he should have been appointed, well, he has been now, so let him do the job. But hey, look, he's Graham Potter's man. He's followed Potter to every club Potter's ever managed at. Can't stop saying Potter. We paid Chelsea £1 million compensation for him. £1 million compensation. It is just another example of quite how badly West Ham are run and how poor the lack of foresight is. And the forward planning from the club. Very poor. Potter's going to have to win. But even if he does, he now knows that he's probably not wanted and the club are plotting and planning for his removal. Potter can have no complaints. I can't stop saying Potter. He can have no complaints because he did this. He did this to Lopetegui. Also, ordinarily, I do sometimes feel sorry for managers when I think they've been worn down over a period of time. I don't think he's been worn down over a period of time. I felt sorry for Lopetegui because his dad had just died, and that's the truth of the matter. And I felt very sorry for him being thrust into the limelight. And he had to, if you remember, he had to go back to Spain, and it was tough. It was very close to his dad, apparently, and I felt sorry for him on that aspect. With Potter, I don't find it hard to be that sympathetic because he's not been here that long. He's made a series of promises which I don't think he's kept. I do think to one extent or another he's a bit of a yes man as well. And also this guy got a £40 million payoff from Chelsea. He'll be all right. Although I'm not convinced he's going to be offered another top level job anytime soon. Nuno is not in that situation. Nuno is, as I explained in yesterday's video, Nuno is off the back of a successful campaign with Nottingham Forest where he got them into Europe. And as such, is the outstanding available candidate. And in many respects, the West Ham board are lucky because I do think he's a competent manager. As I will reiterate now, because I always go back to it's not my choice. I would like Iraola or I'd like Silva. But the West Ham board are lucky because they only ever go for the available. And he is available. And he's competent. Whereas I think there's a lot of incompetent managers who have been linked and who are available, who I was worried that we were going to get we were going to get lumbered with. Not going to say any more about that for now because it is match day, and it's going to be hard not to watch this particular game without viewing it through the prism of the backdrop of Potter's going to lose his job. It's hard to think of anything, be it whether we go a goal up or whether we go a goal down or whether there's no goals. It's just hard to factor in anything else. The circus description has been used so much, it's probably overused now, West Ham, but it really, I don't even know if circus is, it's just absolute hive of activity. It's sort of like looking down on New York City or something. All this, there's just so many things going on. And you look at Crystal Palace, who haven't had the easiest time recently, it has to be said, what with the European thing and everything else, and Mark Gahey. They probably have been able to prepare for this. I think it's been really tough for Potter to have prepared for this game with the backdrop of all this going on. He'll be able to read the signs, by the way. There'll be things that happened to him when he was trying to get Lopetegui's job, which he'll be recognising now. So he will know. He would absolutely know. I wonder if Karen's answering her phone. Just blocking gets busied or something. So I do think it'd be quite difficult for him. It's very, very difficult to see how we can win this game. But it's not beyond the realms. I said this in the preview. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. The most West Ham thing would be for actually West Ham to win 2-1 today. And you know what? I can see it all happening. I can see that happening, that suddenly West Ham click into gear. We don't even need to click into gear. Sometimes you just got to face a team at the right time. I think we did it this season. We're not in a Forest when beat them 3-0. We faced them at the right time where they were a club in turmoil. It's going to be slightly different now. I'll be interested to see, because this is highly likely to be his last ever West Ham team selection. Be really interested to see what he does. Whether he learns when it was too late, it's too little, too late, that learns to, sort that midfield out. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Who knows? It's going to be really, really interesting. I hate that West Ham is like this. I hate it. I really, really do. And by the way, so tomorrow there are protests outside the stadium. And I thought it was a really nice message from Hammers United. And it was a nice message, by the way. And it was, I think it was an open statement to the players and staff, basically saying, look, we're here to protest against the ownership. It very much said it, in particular, Sullivan and Brady. When the team coach drives through, we're going to clap you, we're going to cheer you. You know, we'd be pleased to see you. You're very welcome. It was nice. That was whoever thought that up, really good touch. Really, really good touch. And they meant it. It's not disingenuous. They meant that. It's not going to be like that when the Sullivan car comes in. I don't know. Actually, the trouble is he's so high profile. Everyone knows it's like that Rolls Royce, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know what Brady's car is. Couldn't tell you. Might have a little Fiat 500 or something. You don't know. I don't know. Does she have a chauffeur-driven car? Is Paul be annoyed? Paul Pesky-Solid, they might not be driving her because she's been eloping behind his best mate's back. I don't know how that works. That's not a throuple, really, is it? That's something different. Forget about it. Don't worry about that. Honestly, this thing is... Anyway, that's going to be difficult for them. And I do think that them replacing the manager straight away after the game, does it change the protest? No, the protest will still have happened. Will it make them... Well, they'll still be squirming, won't they? But what it will do is it'll immediately change the narrative from the mainstream media. So, yeah. But I'm not going to call it a clever ploy just yet. Number one, because it hasn't happened. And number two, it hasn't turned out. We don't know. The mainstream media might not do that at all. You just don't know. But a big game for everybody. Big game for fans. Big game for manager. Big game for staff. Big game for players. A few of them, by the way, they've got away with a lot of stuff. A few of them ain't been doing too well recently. Let's be fair. Big game for the ownership. Massive game for the ownership. So. Anyway, there you go. That's that. Enjoy the game if you can. 3 o'clock kickoff today. And I will catch up with you later on for the review.